I don't know how to characterize this any more than I have. Just an amazing insult to everybody, their intelligence. These are people that voted for Barack Obama. These are people that basically placed their lives in his hands. Many of these people turned over their very existence to Barack Obama because they trusted him. He engendered that trust, and he told them that he's the one that would look out for them. He was the one that was going to protect them. He was the one that was going to guard them from these ravaging Republicans who didn't care about women, didn't care about blacks, don't care about anybody else. It's Barack Obama that purposely deceived these people for his own gain, for his own power, and that of his party. And he's now denying that he lied. He's compounding, and he's now denying that he ever said you could keep your insurance if you liked it. He's denying that he said it. He now claims he said you could keep it if it didn't change. But the Obamacare law is written so as to make sure that plans change, so that they don't remain grandfathered. Here, folks, here's the dirty little secret. Obamacare can't survive if everybody's plans stay the same. Can I ask you a question that I think is rooted in logic? If the president's number one selling point, please focus on this question. It's important. If the number one selling point of Obamacare, if the most important thing about it, if the thing that he's willing to lie about 29 times, is that if you like your plan, you can keep it, then would somebody tell me what was wrong with it? If you like your plan, you can keep it, then why are we changing anything? Why are we doing this? What it tells me is that most people were satisfied with what they had. And they were not going to get to keep it. And the president knew that. So he had to lie to them about it in order to implement this reform, which is going to end up being much worse for almost everybody. Not quite everybody, because some are going to get subsidies, like people that work for the government and members of the House and Senate and their staff. They're going to have 75% of their costs taken care of by you and me and other taxpayers. But most everybody is going to be really financially impacted, damaged by this. And the president's out there telling everybody, no, if you like your plan, if you like your doctor, you can keep it. Well, if you ask me, what was wrong with it then? Why does it need to be changed? And if you're going to make a big deal out of lying to people about it, you must be of the impression that most people like their plans. And in that case, why change it? And so what did that become? Well, we had to do it for the uninsured because we're big-hearted, compassionate liberals, and we have to take care of those who don't have any health insurance. It's just not right. The biggest superpower in the world, we have 30 million people uninsured. What kind of rot-gut people does that make us? So we're going to do this to insure 30 million people, right? Well, that turns out that the uninsured remain uninsured under Obamacare. The only people that benefit from this is the Democrat Party. The only people that benefit. And how do they benefit? They now control 1/6 of the U.S. economy that they didn't have under their control. And they now control the way people live. Because every aspect of living has a health care cost component to it that they can deny treatment for unless you snap to and live the way they want you to live. And they're not content to let you live the way you want to live. You've got to live the way they demand you live. This is so repugnant. So now Obama's denying that he ever said what he said, except he said, well, we now. So here, I'm just going to do this little soundbite roll here. We're going to repeat number one. This is Obama saying, no, we never said that you could keep your plan if it changed. And listen to this again.
If you have or had one of these plans before the Affordable Care Act came into law, and you really liked that plan, what we said was you could keep it if it hasn't changed since the law was passed. So we wrote into the Affordable Care Act You're grandfathered in on that plan. But if the insurance company changes it, then what we're saying is they've got to change it to a higher standard.
Well, that's the mandate. They have to change it. There was no way you were going to keep your plan from the beginning, and they knew it. They knew that 93 million Americans are going to lose their plans in the relationship with their doctor. They lied about it. They knew they were lying about it. They made a calculated decision to lie and deal with the aftermath. Now, try to follow this. Same press conference, D.C. Organizing for America event. He says that if he had kept his first promise, he would have broken an even bigger one. This is where he attempts to implement the Limbaugh theorem.
If we had allowed these old plans to be downgraded or sold to new enrollees once the law had already passed, then we would have broken an even more important promise, making sure that Americans gain access to health care that doesn't leave them one illness away from financial ruin.
There you go.
The bottom line is that
there you go.
We are making the insurance market better for everybody.
There you go.
And that's the right thing to do.
That's what they've done for 30 years. One illness away from financial ruin. They've been talking like that for 30 years, and they've made people think that they're one common cold away from financial ruin. So here now the president says if he had kept his first promise, i.e. you get to keep your plan, he would have broken an even bigger promise. And if we had allowed these old plans to be downgraded or sold to new enrollees, then we would have broken an even more important promise, making sure that Americans gain access. He says if we had let you keep your plan, we would not have been able to have other people who are uninsured get insurance. Well, they don't get insured under Obamacare. Dirty little secret is that something like 20 million Americans, maybe it's 30, remain uninsured after full implementation. So this is pathological. This is purposefully pathological. How come we haven't seen any examples of people with lousy plans? Name one of them. The only thing we've seen are people who like their plans who are upset they don't get to keep them, right? All we've seen are people who've been canceled, and they're upset about it. And they've been told that their replacement plan is going to raise their deductible by 3 times, their premium by 150%. Their out-of-pocket goes way up. We haven't seen anybody. We haven't seen any examples of people happy that Obamacare has gotten rid of a lousy plan, have we? All we've seen are people ticked off that they lost the plan they had and that they liked it, which then again argues for the premise, why change it? And when you start answering that question, then you find out what this is really all about, and it isn't health care. Why change something that 95% of Americans liked? Most people like their plans, it turns out. Isn't that amazing? That's another thing people have been lied to about. You've probably gone through this whole debate thinking most Americans hate their doctor, hate their insurance company, hate their plan. And it turns out they all like their plan, and they're really ticked off they don't get to keep it. Have you seen anybody come forward that had a lousy plan, happy it's gone? Thirdly, have you seen any example of that? I haven't. If it's any, it's very few. They're few and far between. Most of the people trotting out here, most of the people making news are people that have been canceled who like their plans. I haven't seen anybody come up and say, you know what, I'm so happy. I had a rotten plan. Obamacare got rid of it, and my new plan I really love. I haven't seen that person. Have you? They don't exist. This is one of the, this is, folks, I can't categorize the scope of this scam that has been run on everybody. And it's gotten away with because it takes place in the political arena. Oh, that's just politics. You take what happened here outside of the political arena, you put it anywhere, and you've got the Justice Department and lawyers out the wazoo trying to put people in jail. And I'm not exaggerating. You had a CEO lie to people about a product. You don't even Sarbanes-Oxley, nobody knows what it is. I'm just telling you that this, look at the Tylenol case. Somebody went in, poisoned a bunch of Tylenol. People got sick. They had to pull it off the market. Imagine if Tylenol, no, there's nothing wrong with it. We're keeping it on the shelf. There's nothing wrong with it. You'd have no problem taking Tylenol. Or this new phone's going to have a 6-inch screen, full HD. It's going to have a battery that lasts you a full week on a single charge. You go buy the phone that's got a 4-inch screen. The battery lasts 8 hours, and it's not HD. What happens to that company? Well, we had to lie to you to make sure you'd buy it. Well, yeah, we had to lie to you so you'd support Obamacare, so we Democrats can stay in power. That's all that's happened here. But this was personal, folks. There are going to be ramifications to this, mark my word.